Thank you, Joanna, for the very kind introduction. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. To the esteemed officers, members, and partners of the Chamber of Real Estate and Builders Association, Chairman Jerry Navarrete, President and my dear friend, Toti Carino, Convention Chairman Fernando Chong, thank you for this incredible honor. We are truly grateful for the recognition. However, at the onset, allow me to give credit where credit is due. Mayor Vico and the City Council of our beloved city are just doing what should be the norm. We are merely doing our sworn duty to protect the interests of the people and ensure that government funds are used to benefit the public good and not for the good of politicians. The true heroes that are more deserving of this recognition are the people of Pasig, who have shown the entire country that their votes are sacred and are not for sale. Sila ang dapat natin parangalan. To Mayor Vico Soto, whose leadership is marked by courage, competence, and consistency, maraming salamat sa inspirasyon at paninindigan. When we assumed office, one of the first questions we asked ourselves was, how do we build a government that people can trust again? For too long, local governance across the country has been weighed down by patronage, inefficiency, and sadly, corruption. But in Pasig, we realized that genuine reforms won't just happen overnight. But we also knew that it had to begin somewhere. And the truth is, it all started because a 29-year-old councilor challenged the norm and said in 2019 that from day one of his assumption, the office of the mayor will no longer be accepting any commissions, bribes, or anything of value in exchange for favors, contracts, and the like. In a nutshell, Mayor Vico Soto walked the talk, and he leads by example. Pwede niyo pong palakpakan si Mayor Vico Soto. The reforms were not easy. We faced a lot of resistance. We disrupted old systems and challenged long-standing habits. The syndicates that were well entrenched had to be broken. There were, and still are, some employees that would rather go back to a system that benefits a few rather than the many. But how can they promote selfish interests so openly if their own elected officials take the higher road of honesty and accountability? And today, we are proudly seeing proof that change is indeed possible. And the result, when government is honest and consistent, the private sector responds with trust. Investments flow, development becomes inclusive, and most importantly, the people begin to believe again. Testament to this is the budget of the city of Pasig. From 2019 at 10 billion pesos because of Vico Soto's good governance. Despite the pandemic, our budget continued to grow. In 2022, our budget went up to 13.5 billion pesos. 2024, we hit 15 billion pesos. In 2025, this year, our budget stands at 22 billion pesos. Because of good governance, people are now willing to pay the right taxes. dahil alam nila hindi ninanakaw ang pondo ng taong bayan. However, allow me also to remind all of us that the fight against corruption is not just the duty of elected officials. It is the shared responsibility of every Filipino. Corruption exists where there is silence. It thrives in the shadows, in the pwede na yan culture, in the handshake deals, and in the belief that lahat naman gumagawa niyan. But we must break that cycle. Each of us in government, in business, in civil society, we must refuse to participate in corrupt systems. We must demand accountability from our leaders and, just as importantly, from ourselves. When a business owner chooses to go through the proper process instead of paying grease money, that is a win against corruption. When a citizen reports an irregularity instead of turning a blind eye, that is also a win. And when we start to raise a generation of young Filipinos who believe that honesty is not a weakness, but instead a strength, this is how we begin to change a nation. We must likewise raise the bar of public servants. I am certain most, if not all of us here today, feel a sense of disgust and infuriation as recent events have shown how our government officials bathe in ostentatiousness while the people they claim to serve continue to drown in poverty. Therefore, we must create a culture where corrupt officials are shunned, not celebrated, where public servants who flaunt their ill-gotten wealth are not admired, but held accountable. We must demand reforms. We can no longer normalize this anymore. Every citizen has the power and the responsibility to change the culture of politics in this country. And to all of you here in CREBA, you are not just builders of homes and commercial spaces. You are builders of communities and builders of the very future of our cities and our nation. So I urge you to continue to be partners in pushing for ethical, sustainable, and inclusive development. Let us say no to shortcuts, no to bribes, no to backdoors, because what is built on a foundation of corruption, no matter how great or grand, will never last. But what we build on trust, transparency, and truth will stand the test of time. This recognition you have given us today in the city of Pasig is a reminder of what is truly possible. But more than that, it also is a reminder that so much more has to be done. Our work is far from over, but if we continue to walk this path together in government, in business, and as citizens, I have no doubt that we can create the Philippines we all deserve. Together, let us build a country where the honest do not finish last. They lead. Isang Pasig na tapat, isang bansa na malinis, isang sambayanang Pilipino na may dangal at paninindigan. Maraming salamat po at mabuhay ang Pilipinas.